talking a little bit about the Beale Street vibe. People come to Beale Street, they expect the blues. It's like going to I was going to say 6th Street in Austin, it's a whole nother deal. But you go to Bourbon Street, you expect to hear jazz,
Right.
And you don't,
Right.
And in some places, in some of the clubs on Beale, they don't necessarily play the blues. There's a lot of rock and roll down there, but you guys are delivering the real deal down there.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's what we try to do with our band. One of the things that we did. That's why we're called the PS Band when we're at the B.B. King's Blues Club.
Right.
That's in honor and memory of Preston, the Preston Shannon Band, and we made a promise to him that as long as we played on that stage, we would keep his name alive. And so we call ourselves the PS Band for that. Anywhere else, we're the Jonathan Ellison Band.
Sure.
But being on that stage, as I was telling Mark, we don't have a lot of regulars. The majority of our people that come in to hear us perform, they're the tourists. We may have.
Oh, sure, that's Beale Street.
Yeah,
That's,
exactly.
That's Disneyland for adults.
Exactly.
It's Disneyland with alcohol. Is what it is.
Really, that's what it is.
Minus the costume characters, but they may start that shit too. You don't know, but
and it's so funny on the nights that we perform. It feels good when they can walk down the street and then they come back and they say, hey, we checked out some of the other places, but right now, man, you guys are the ones that are actually playing the blues, and we appreciate you playing the blues. So that makes my heart feel good, man, because
and it should. You're giving them what they want,
right?
And as a performer, and a lot of showbiz people don't understand this, that you have to give the audience what they want.
Absolutely.
And they come to hear the blues. They travel literally from all around the world.
Right.
And they wind up at B.B. King's, they're getting a rack of ribs or whatever they're getting. And all of a sudden, you step out on stage with this band, and boom, it's a tight act, and here it is. And you're knocking their socks off.
Oh, man, thank you. Yeah, but that's what we're supposed to do, and
well, that's your job.
And we're not gonna change. Each night is different, but we're always going to keep that foundation of the blues.
You got different people in there every
Absolutely.
night,
Yeah.
And I know as a performer, one of the hardest things that you have to do, it's easy for, I say it's easy, but it's easy for a musician, a qualified musician to, put a guitar around his neck and go out there and play.
Yeah.
That's just ABC stuff. But to work the crowd, like I know you do.
Yeah.
You're paying attention to who's listening to you and who's really, focused on what you're after.
Yeah, man.
You play to them. You work them. There's that tip bucket.
Hey, man, I'm gonna tell you.
I don't mean to be glib.
No, you're absolutely right, man. One of the things, my father, Ivory T. Ellison, which he just recently retired from radio. 37
I know
years.
that name.
Yeah, that's my dad, man. Brownsville Radio, WTBG. He was a gospel announcer.
Yes, that's where I know that name from. Oh my God, I did not know that you were there.
That's
son.
That's my dad. And
Ivor Ellison.
Yeah, that's
my God.
Yeah, that's my father. He just recently retired, but one of the things he always taught me as a musician was to read the crowd. We used to go and I would go with him as a child while he would MC programs, gospel shows and stuff, and we'd be sitting back in the back. And we'll hear the different quartet acts do their thing, and Daddy would actually quiz me. So, what do you think the next group is going to do? How do you think you're going to come behind that? And I would have to figure out, what would be the best solution.
Step it up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so
how do you work that crowd?
Exactly. And so as a child, man, he was drilling me, and I didn't even know it. And when he bought me my first guitar on Christmas. And I love telling the story because it's the absolute
How old
truth.
were you when you got that guitar?
My first actual guitar that I got on my own that he bought for me, I was like 11. I started playing at 7. I was playing his guitar.
Yeah.
But when he finally realized that, okay, he really wants to play, because I started out as a drummer and then played a little bass.
Sure.
But
sure.
But when he realized, okay, he really wants to play.
There's some chops here.
He
something to work with.
Exactly. He went and bought me a guitar, and I'm left-handed. So a lot of people don't know this. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I'm left-handed.
But you play like a standard right hand.
Yeah, I play standard right hand. And when he went to the music store, he talked.
Which makes sense because all the action's over here in the right hand.
Well, some people are ambidextrous.
Yeah.
Are you that, or do you just play guitar?
I just play guitar right-handed.
Oh, okay.
No, I wish I could play it left, boy. I tell you, that'd be something.
You know, in a weird sort of way, Phil Mickelson, the golfer.
Yeah.
He plays left-handed, but he's a right-handed dude.
Correct. Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
Because he's always felt that the left hand was always stronger anyway.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, for my dad, when he went to the music store to get him a guitar, he asked the owner of the store. He said, "Hey, my son's left-handed. Should I buy him a left-handed guitar?" And he said, "Well,
just flip it over." And
he said, "Hey, has he ever really played before?" And he says, "Well, he plays my guitar." He said, "Well, he really won't know the difference. So just so he put me on the right-handed guitar."
Wow.
So, but I'll never forget, man, going through that scavenger hunt around the house, because under the Christmas tree, I didn't have a gift. I just had an envelope. And so I opened it up, and it said, go to the bathroom. Went to the bathroom, looked under the sink. It was another envelope.
Oh my God!
While you're in there, brush your teeth.
right.
While you're in there, wash your face. Put a clean shirt on.
Yeah. All this stuff. No. But he sent me all around the house, and the last envelope had a key, which is to the trunk of his car. And I went to the trunk, and there was my guitar.
Oh, wow.
And
cool.
And when I came in the house, and he smiled from ear to ear, everybody's smiling. My
it's
dad,
the giving of the gift that makes
I
them so
love
happy.
that.
Yeah.
I love that.
But what he did was so special was right after walking in the house, he prayed over me, and he said, "Lord, help my son learn to play, that he may learn to play skillfully, that one day this may be his livelihood."
Wow.
Yeah. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Here you are.
Never forget that, man. And so to look at where I am and the things that he instilled in me. When I'm on stage now, I think about my dad and I think about Preston. What would they do? How would I approach this?
So you played that little guitar till your hands bled.
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
Yes, I did.
Because a lot of guitar players, they do that. They go through that pain.
And
And on the tail end of that,
right,
is the real reward. Isn't it?
You couldn't punish me as a child. Okay, they tried everything they could.
Go to your room. Okay.
Yeah, right. Nothing would work. The only way you could punish me was take my guitar.
That guitar away. That's right.
You wanted to get my attention? Take my guitar. You got me down. All right.
Did they ever do it?
Yeah, did it one time.
They did one time.
Did it one time. My grades had failed really bad, man. And
You became a straight-A student.
you know what, man? I got the honor roll the next 6 weeks. I sure
There
did.
you go.
And I got everything together because I realized I did not want to lose this instrument. It's a part of me. And just recently, my sister Virginia was telling me she was taking Dad to the doctor. He said, that boy really loves that guitar, doesn't he? And she said, yeah, and he really can play. I'm so proud of him.
Well, you bring up a good point that a lot of really remarkable guitar players in the world, and in Preston included,
yes,
and guys like Eric Clapton or Jimi Hendrix,
yeah.
The guitar was an extension of them.
Yes,
and you kind of made that happen just by virtue of having that.
Yeah.
And watching you play there, I know you were a little uptight about playing solo acoustic, but dude, there's nothing to be uptight about.
Oh, man.
That's just solid stuff. But that's just natural for you.
Well,
there were people that would murder others to make that happen. I dabble in the guitar, but it's not. I do this. I sit on my ass and I run my mouth. But to be able to play like that, I wouldn't be doing this. I would do what you do. I'm jealous of that.
Well, man, I appreciate it
in a sweet way.
I appreciate it, but I'll say this. I've been around music my entire life. I mean, from the earliest moment, a memory that I have.
You had a home full of it.
Exactly. And my brothers. Oh my goodness, my brother Robert and my brother Ira. We called him Bobo. God rest his soul. My brother Vince and my brother Marvin. I just wanted to idolize them. And they didn't pursue it the way that I did toward the end, because we always said that Dad, as they put it, Dad was like a mixture between Joe Jackson and Ike Turner when it came to music.
Wow.
When he came to music,
wow.
That's what he was, man. I mean, he drilled you, every year, the past couple of years, for his appreciation. We would come together and we would perform Ellison family music to him, and we put the band together, and we'd never have a rehearsal. We just probably get together for about 15, 20 minutes, make sure all of us were in tune, and then we walk right in, and we would play like we've been doing this for the past 20, 30 years, because Dad had drilled us in such a way.
In the fundamentals.
Exactly.
Small ball.
Exactly. Small ball.
Small
exactly.
ball. What records did you listen to as a youngster?
Oh, man.
You know, as a young boy, you're hanging around. I mean, you got a house full of music. There had to have been some records, and you listen to, I don't know, Muddy Waters, or you listen to maybe, what did you listen to?
You're going to trip out on this. I listened to whatever my brothers had in the crates that were in the room, the records, and I grew
up. Don't touch my records, man.
And I used to get in there all the time.
Of course,
man.
that's the whole point, because that's the ones you wanted to hear.
You're gonna trip though, man. I grew up listening to the Eagles.
Really?
Yeah, man. I grew up listening to Styx.
Classic rock.
Yeah. I'm serious, man. That's where
Zeppelin.
Yeah, I mean, That's why I grew up on.
Black Sabbath, maybe.
No, Black Sabbath. We didn't.
It was a little dark.
Yeah,
it was weird,
but I remember that Eagles Live in 1980 album that looked like the Road Case.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
I remember as a child just looking at this record, looking at the
Doobie Brothers was kind of around that same thing.
Doobie Brothers was there too, man. I mean, I remember the big old Doobie.
It was
on
all
the
the
front.
valley in California. I mean, that was all that stuff that happened there in the valley.
This is a trip. I mean, this is white music, basically.
I mean, I grew up listening. I listened to so many different things because my brothers, they were always trying to remain versatile and remain relevant.
So how did you go from, say, the Eagles, which was basically a country act, into blues? How did that bridge happen? Because I know a lot of guys will.
They were blues based.
Well, they were blues based, but there's a lot of rock acts that had tinges like like Clapton and Cream and whatnot. And then you listen to it and you kind of backtrack and go, okay, where did they come from? And then you got Paul Butterfield, and then you got John Mayall and all that stuff.
Right, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then Hendrix pops up into that, and of course Zeppelin, which is the first Zeppelin record was nothing but a cover album anyway.
Really, exactly.
But so how did that happen with you?
Oh man, this is a true story. A little over 11 years ago, I was playing at BB King's Blues Club.
Yeah.
Okay. I played at blues, but I played at blues.
I get it.
You know, and being
you dip your toe in it.
right, and and also with the father of blues is gospel. Mm-hmm. So I got traditional gospel all through me. So it's easy to translate that.
Thanks to Mom and Dad.
Exactly.
And Ivor.
Exactly. So never forget, man. It was a Thursday night. I'm the band leader for the BB King All Stars at this time, and we got a call. We were doing our second set. Rainy night, not a lot of people there. The street's pretty much empty, and we're into the second set, maybe the second or third song. Mm-hmm. And our sound engineer, he's at the top and he's doing the throat cut sign. Talking about stop,
done,
stop,
yeah,
stop,
wrap it up.
So I said, we're going to take a short pause for the calls and we'll be right back. And walk off stage, and I run up there and I'm like, what's going on? He said, look, man, we just got a call. BB King is in town tonight, and he's receiving an award. And so he's going to come down. He wants to hear the BB King All-Star Band and get some food. So we're just going to hold tight.
Shit.
Right. We're just going to, seriously, man. So
I got to go clean myself up a little bit. A little pee came out. I got to go deal with this.
So he said, we're going to hold tight, man. We're going to wait till he gets here. Well, the word got around Beale that BB was coming. Before you know it, man, all the other spots, they let out. And I mean, we look like a packed
they
place,
gang
man.
rush it, yeah.
And I'll never forget, man, the windows were all fogged up from the heat, of everybody being in there, man. And we're on stage, and I look out the window, man, and I could see BB's bus coming down, escorted by the Memphis Police Department.
Oh my God.
He pulls up on the side. He comes through the back door. He walks around. We're all like, wow. We're performing. We're like, wow. And I'll never forget. It was two people that were with him that I thought was kind of interesting. It was a huge entourage, but the two it was Steven Seagal.
Yes.
Oh Lord.
And Eddie Levert of the OJs.
Yes.
And I was like, wow. Like all of them are hanging out together. So
Stephen hanging on the tails all the way in. You know?
Oh shit!
so
Is Stephen doing security on the side or
He
what?
claimed to be kind of a bluesman himself. Really.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
you know, I did some gigs with
Kirk
Stephen,
Smithhart worked with
Yeah,
him
yeah,
for a
yeah.
little bit, yeah.
Man, Kirk Smithhart, such a amazing player. Not
Sweet
trying to get
guy.
off the. Oh my God.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get new music out of his ass, but he won't give it to me.
I mean, amazing voice, amazing guitar skills. Oh my God, man, he's a great guy.
So BB and Stevie is Seagal comes in with this guy and then what?
They sit down and they're eating, and Tommy Peters is with me, you know, and you know Tommy is runs the BB King's Blues Club through the Beale Street Blues Company.
Yeah.
And so Tommy walks over to the front of the stage and he says, "Hey, Jonathan, BB just bet me $100 that you can't do a blues song.
Oh.
He's proven wrong." And he walked off. Just
What
like-
the hell were you doing up
What
until
the
then?
hell was
This is-
that about?
Well, see, we were a band that we were doing. We're doing mostly Memphis soul. You know, we're doing Wilson
Oh,
Pickett.
okay.
We're doing Stax, High Records, all that kind of stuff. You know, great. You know, but we weren't doing a lot of blues. But here's the deal. I told you I was playing at blues at that time. All right.
Okay.
At it.
So right.
But how
Hoping
did
to
he
get a
know
little-
that? He had just gotten there. What did he know about
No,
You
it?
know
he
what?
wanted to hear it.
Here's the deal. BB could tell. He probably knew that it was in me, but he knew that I hadn't tapped into it. Because here's the God's honest truth. When Tommy asked me that, told me that, I stood up and my mind went blank. I couldn't think of one blues song to do. And what was funny was the band.
If you say Mustang Sally, I'm going to beat your ass.
Oh hell, no, man! I would never. No,
That is not a
no.
blues
I would never.
song.
I would never do that.
No.
But you know, my drummer at the time is David Mason. You know, and
Yeah.
David, recently he's been out on the road working with Robert Craig now.
Yeah.
But I'll never forget. David has always been my wingman when it comes to songs.
Mm-hmm.
And I look back at David, and David's eyes are as big as golf balls because he heard Tommy too, and his mind went blank. And he said, "I can't think of one either."
There's $100.
Right. Here it is. I got the King of the Blues in the building, and I can't even do a blues song. So we ended up doing "Rock Me, Baby." You know, just trying to but we had done it earlier that night.
Sure.
So I was mad as hell at myself. But I'll never forget. Before he left, he walked up to the stage and he shook my hand and he said, "Son," he said, "you really can play and you really can sing." But I was mad at myself because I felt like I didn't do what I needed to do. So when I went home, I'm driving home. I'm thinking about this. I get home. And this is the truth. I got down on my knees and I prayed and asked God to help me become a better blues man. And one thing I know about God, if you don't ask specifically, he can be a great comedian at times. And the next
He has quite the sense of humor, doesn't he?
yes, he does. And the next thing I know, he sent me on a blues journey. He gave me a crazy woman. He gave me all kind of problems in my band. Not this one right here. This has been a jewel. Cassandra, I love her. But he sent me through a journey, and that's how I
You're
became.
sort of the opposite of Robert Johnson.
I mean,
if you want to go with the myth, Robert Johnson to deal with the devil.
with the crossroad.
singing
Okay,
in the
I get you on that.
crossroads,
Okay,
you know what I'm
okay.
saying? Of course, it's all myth.
Right.
And you clearly outlived him.
Right.
He was the first in the 27 Club.
Right. Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
But that's but
See, you invoked what you needed to invoke. You brought to you what needed to be brought, and look at what it's done for you.
Did BB speak to you that night? Did he? What happened? I mean,
Well, he walked up to me and shook my hand and let me know that he said you can really play and you can really sing.
You can do this.
Yeah. And
That's quite the endorsement.
and after that, we ended up opening up for BB 2 other times after that experience. And I had a chance to briefly spend some time with BB. And just loved to hear the stories. He was just such a cool guy to be around because he loved to talk.
Sure.
Yeah, man. He can tell you great stories, man. And
So did Guitar Cry for Me come from that? If I understand that story right,
I'll tell you, the Guitar Cry for Me came
which we
from
played a little while ago. Yeah.
Guitar Cry for Me came from an experience with the woman that I was with that gave me the blues. And I'll
As
never.
they tend to do.
Yes.
Sandra.
Now this right here, she's giving me nothing but joy right here, man. That's my.
She's covering her face like, "Don't bring me into this."
She's trying to be quiet over here. But no, I was actually out on the cruise ships with Holland America.
Oh, doing the shows. Oh, that's a good gig.
Yeah, I spent a year and a half out there.
Yeah.
And so while I'm out there, the lady that I was with sent me an email, a Dear John email, man, seriously, where she said, "Hey, I can't do this anymore. I'm moving on. I found me somebody else." And so here I am out here on this water.
Okay, bitch.
Well, at that point, my heart was broken.
Well,
because,
sure it would be. Yes.
You know, because I'm out here in the middle of the Mediterranean by myself with a bunch of strangers.
And I can't respond.
And
I'm a drunken stranger.
Right. And I'm not going to get back home for another 4.5 months.
Well,
you know,
like
holy shit, 4.5 months.
Yeah. So I got to deal with this thing. And I'll never forget, man, that night when I read that, I was set up on the top deck. It was dark. And, you know, and there's something about being out there in that sea. I don't know if you've ever been there.
Yes, I have.
You know,
and
it's like looking at a black wall, man. You can't see anything.
Tell the horizon.
Exactly.
You can't see.
You might see some stars, but that's it's dark.
And I'll never forget, man. I was sitting there, and the words came. "I'm through worrying over you. You can't make a fool out of me. I've cried my last tear for you, honey. I'll let my guitar cry for me." And
it's a brilliant song.
Thank you, man.
Man,
Thank you.
Absolutely love it.
Thank you.
It's really
That song comes from the heart, man. It does.
That song is basically the hit off that record.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
I have "Keep Going" queued up, which I guess is the polar opposite of that. Really, because I'm going to play a real short break, and I'm going to play that tune, and then we're going to play some more live.
Cool.
In the studio.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
Tell me about "Keep Going."
Keep going. There's another story about another one.
My man.
Yeah. We got.
He's just slinging it from all across the country.
We have been.
Sandra.
We have been. Well, you know what, man? I'll be honest. I've only had in my life 4 people that have been there in relationship with.
Sure.
Sandra's the 4th, and so this lady that I was with, my thing has always been if I commit to you, I'm there. My mom always said, "Never lay with a woman you can't marry." So I took that seriously. But anyway, I'm with this crazy woman. And we're arguing, and every time we were arguing, I write songs. True story. So we had a really bad argument this one.
You got some albums laying out there.
I got tons of stuff.
I'm kidding.
But we had a bad argument. I grabbed my acoustic and I started sitting down and I started writing this song. And when I got it done, didn't take me long. I called her back in the room and said, "Hey, baby, I got a song for you. And so I want you to listen to it." And when she came in and I started playing the song, she put me out. She actually called the police, had me put out. So that's what "Keep Going" is about.
She stood there and listened to you with her hands on her hips.
Yeah, because see,
that son of a bitch.
The first words are, if you see me walking down the street in the hot sun, sweating from head to toe, or if you see me pushing a cart with everything I own, homeless and on Skid Row, or if you see me wounded on the side of the road in need of care, taking my very last breath, I want you to keep going. I don't need your help anymore. So she heard it and it made her freaking angry. So you got to get the so and so out of my house right now.
Oh wow!
Yeah, man.
Makes you stronger, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That it does.
That was that blues journey, bro.
We're gonna hear that song. Keep Going. It's up out of the break. We're here back in just a few moments here at Radio Memphis. Don't run away.
Hey, this is Spud Goodman. I sort of host